back in January, where we had several projects that had density bonus requests. So a committee was organized with Councilmember Park and Farrell and Good and myself, and we sat down and gone over and discussed some items. But these are the things that I got out of the committee meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, but one was to simplify the code. We had, specifically in the RA1 zone and in the North Village overlay zone, there was a lot of arbitrary density bonus options. And I'll show you that in a minute. That second bullet statement, allow fewer density bonus options and lower bonus density percentages. Make density bonuses less discretionary. And the discussion was to have this, and the pending ordinance that's in place is to have amendments to the RA1, the Mountain Zone, the Strawberry Recreation Overlay Zone, the North Village Overlay District Overlay Zone, and the J-Spot, General Special Plan Area. So the discussion was that we have the base density unless one of two options are used, or a combination of two options. And that would be a regional park that's a programmable park, meaning that the Parks Department could have soccer games there or baseball games there. I talked to Tom Bonner, and the minimum acreage that he would want to have would be 5 acres. Of course, that's got to be a level area. The other option for increased density bonus would be a fee in lieu that would go towards an open space fund. So the other discussion we had was that the parks would be fronting on roads. You have an escrow for parking and bathrooms that the developer would pay for. And then we talked about all subdivisions having an open space requirement of 15%. There was also discussion about more rural roads. Instead of a curb gutter sidewalk park strip, there was a discussion about swales and maybe a trail on one side. And then the other discussion we had was landscaping and berming along roads and having the home set back farther with the open space up front, so it was more of a rural feel along the major roads. Did I miss anything?
Yeah. Well, probably didn't talk about it in committee, but as far as
The transition. Yeah. Yeah, and I was going to talk about that in a minute as I go through this. So that's something that Commissioner Councilmember Peterson and I talked about.
Yeah, maybe go back to that. Maybe one other one on that fourth bullet point. I know in talking to a few, and tonight we talked, maybe add to, and I don't know, it's just discussion instead of a park, maybe a 5-acre piece for a public works building or something. In some of these outlying areas where maybe you need some of that to put equipment, so forth. So that could maybe be part of that. In addition,
Public facilities.
a park or a public facility of some sort in that area.
I think we did talk about that, Doug, now that Kendall mentions that. We did talk about maybe 5 acres for county parks or for other county use. So I think we talked about that.
Okay.
I also thought we talked about not having a bonus density option in the mountain zone.
And I think that is the case, because it's probably in outlying areas where we wouldn't want to have a program park anyway. So it's going to be more mountainous anyway. So
when you were talking about density, were you talking about TDRs at all?
well, I think the TDR was essentially replaced by a fee in lieu. It would go into a fund to match grants to purchase open space. The TDRs could still be used.
It could be a combination. Talking about having bonus density that would buy it, yes, and then that would go to the TDRs.
Yeah.
Transfer the development rights up. So that's what we're doing.
I also took this to the Planning Commission at our last meeting, and we had a discussion in our work meeting, but some of the things we talked about is the North Village overlay zone. In these areas along the Highway 40, you've got a town core zone that allows between 6 to 12 equivalent residential units. And an ERU can be a percentage of a unit. So if you're 1,500 square feet or over, that's one ERU. If you're a hotel, apartment, I don't know, an apartment would be 500 square feet, but if it's a hotel room, it's 500 square feet, you could have 48 units to the acre in the town core zone. Because it's a quarter ERU if you're 500 square feet or under. So this could be a dense zone dependent upon the square footage of the units. And that transitions as you move up the hillside. Everything up here above this canal, the upper canal, is Sorensen property, which they're saying they're looking at 15,000 square foot plus lots anyway. So it allows that range of 6 to 12, and everything gets doubled. There's a 100% density bonus throughout all those transects. We talked about, maybe that gets lessened, and you only have the 2 options in any of those transects. This is the J-SPA language for the 15% density bonus. And as you know from dealing with the Mayflower Lakeside project, it talks about contributions for parks and community centers and affordable housing, and that type of thing. So I've just quickly gone in and struck that out and reflect what we talked about in that committee of regional parks or fee in lieu of open space. This is the RA1 language, current language. So it's at the sole discretion of the council, but there's A through Q of potential density bonus options. And a lot of them are redundant, but it gets to the point of arbitrary decisions. I mean, does the council care if there's a park strip with a 2-inch caliper tree in it, or if there's an internal park that mostly gets used by residents, that type of thing? This is the chart in the code for the transitional residential overlay zone, and what that is, here's a zoning map. Transitional residential overlay zone is the incorporated boundary, the boundary proposal for Heber City, where they could annex to. So this goes up to this is Red Ledges, but this goes up to 2400 East here and jogs over and takes in all of Red Ledges. So anywhere that's in their annexation declaration area, the transitional residential overlay zone can be used. And what that allows is up to a 1.5 units per acre. So it's 20-30% more dense than the
1.5. It says 1 there.
Yeah, 1 ERU per acre, but you can get a 50% density bonus.
Okay.
So 1.5 units per acre if they've got the full density bonus. The mountain zone allows for 1 unit per 20 acres. If you have 160 acres, you can do a planned development. And if you do a planned development, your base density is 1 ERU per 5 acres. So if you got the full density of 130%, you're down to 1 unit for every 2.35 acres, something like that. And then the strawberry recreation zone, which is, it requires, I want to say 6,000 acres. And the 80% contiguous open space, but it allows also up to 130% density bonus in the strawberry recreation zone. One of the thoughts I had was, and I don't think we talked about this as a committee, is that mountain zone, that's the bulk of where we would see any of these planned performance developments up there that could be as dense as 1 unit for 2.35 units per acre. We know we've got an issue with the dead-end road, a seasonal road up Lake Creek that's only open part of the year. The other area that's mountain zone is up here in Brighton Estates area here. The mountain zone is only this portion here. This is P160. I don't know why the colors didn't come out well, but this should be a green color. So this is a chart I put together just to show kind of what we talked about in the committee and some thoughts I had. This is the current zoning for all the various zones. This is a very, very rough draft proposal. So in the J-Spa, the same option for a 15% density bonus, but it would only be the fee in lieu for open space or dedication of the regional park.
No, make that dedication of regional park or public facility.
Or a public facility, yes. The open space stays the same. The North Village overlay zone, current ordinance allows for a base density of 2 to 6 ERUs per acre and a bonus of 4 to 12 ERUs per acre, depending on where you're at on that hillside in the transect. So the draft proposed would be the base density of 2 to 6 ERUs, bonus not to exceed 30% with a park or fee in lieu. And the problem we've got there is in the areas closest to Highway 40 where the density is higher, I can't imagine someone doing a 5-acre park there. In fact, the current code wouldn't even allow it to be up in the rural area. So we'd have to talk about that as well. The RA1, you've got the base density of 1 unit per 1.3 acres and the bonus of 1 unit per acre. So the draft proposal would be, if you're under 50 acres, it's the base density with the 15% open space. If you're over 50 acres, then it's the regional park, minimum 5 acres with the 15% open space as well. We've also talked about variable lot sizes. I can't remember if we talked about it in the committee, but for example, what Midway City does is they require every development to have 15% open space. And in their 1 acre developments, that means they can go down to 0.85 acres. So you've got 15% open space, 0.85 average acre lots. They also allow you to go and do half open space, 50% open space, but then your acreages in the 1 acre zone goes down to 50 or half acre lots. So it's commensurate with the open space that you're providing. I don't know if that's something we want to look into and say, as you transition out from the Heber City Center, then your acreages move up or get larger. One of the comments the Planning Commission had is that if we did the 15% open space and you were at 0.85 lots, you don't have animal rights. And that 0.85 would probably be an average, so you might have some bigger, some smaller, but something we need to discuss. The mountain zone, it's the base right now, 1 for 20 acres. I don't know if we want to entertain not having a planned performance development in there, because again, the problem is with additional density up Lake Creek where it's a seasonal road and a dead end, during the winter and a dirt road during the summer.
Where's all this density coming from? Good idea what it anyhow. All this densities. You go to Cache Valley, if you want to build in the county, you want homes for 20 acres and they're not going to flood. Here we are saying we're going to do open space, and we're going to do bonus densities. Why are we giving out bonus densities? Let's talk about North Village real quick. Sorry to break into your presentation, but let's put it on a scale that we can really see. North Village could be a jewel, but I don't think it's going to be the way that it's designed. It's all set up with all the bonus densities. Right now, how many apartments do we have in there?
Well, there's about 240 units.
How many would be allowed? This is only like maybe a tenth of what could be built.
Yeah, we've probably got vested 600 apartment units in the North Village. Vested.
Welcome to Heber Valley. Here's our apartment row. I mean, what can we do to change that? Not a whole lot right now because there's a lot of vested people, but I don't know, I just have a hard time with all this bonus density, and I want to be that transition zone too, because we don't want to be seeing cluster developments east of town when it should still maintain the rural feel. So we're not going to have that rural feel that we always talk about that we'd like to have.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of these ordinances have morphed over the years, and it's become more and more density bonuses depending on the feelings of the political body and the Planning Commission. So I think what we're seeing now, though, is that a lot of those impacts with traffic and your 10 trips per unit are we're seeing that now. So
It's built out the way that it's designed, it's not going to look the way that we intended it to be.
yeah. So that was my thought, is since a lot of that mountain zoning is up Lake Creek, that maybe we look at just having a base of 1 per 20 acres and there's no planned performance option and therefore no density bonus options. All these are, of course, need to be reviewed by legal to see if we're going to have any issues with that. Like I said, we can't promise that.
You would have a potential rest. Couldn't that be considered down zoning? You now have a certain amount of property rights and all of a sudden we say, okay, we change that to under 20 acres only and you're, I mean, I guess it can be interpreted several ways, but.
We can sure look at it and give you our best shot. We pretty much throw the rural fill out the window. You build it out the way it's designed with bonus density, that rural fill is going to be gone when everybody develops around.
On the mountain zone? I'm talking about the mountain zone.
I'm talking about one thing there.
Strawberry Recreation Zone. Again, just a spitballing here, but the base density with no bonus option. And then the transitional residential overlay zone becomes same as the RA1. So we don't have that disparity right next to each other. This is an example of a midway subdivision. Their code, as I mentioned, requires a 15% open space, but they require that it be up along the roads. So the homes are back a little further, and this is all common area maintained by a homeowners association. This is an example of cobblestone, where you've got, that was part of our discussion, was a rural feel with some landscaping and pushing the homes back a little bit further. You've got a 75, an average of 75, 80 foot buffer along 1200 South here. And crossings on 1200 South, we've got 75, 80 feet along that buffer along 12 South.
Can you go out to cobblestone? So do you consider this rural, Phil?
So, I talked about it in a couple of meetings, not for sure bring that up. I talked about it in a couple of meetings, especially with the lights. I didn't want to see cluster developments like this go all the way to Girls Camp. At the time this was approved, it was kind of in the transition zone. And I made the proposal that we do a transition zone from Mill Road to 2400. And the lots get larger from 24 to 36, and then they get larger from 48 on. Because if we do this all the way to Girls Camp, and we don't have the rural field, there is a place for this type of development. But this has 40% open space in here. Out of 100 acres, there's 40 acres of open space.
And this is denser than anything we have right now in code. This is 1.3 units per acre, if I remember right. Under the old cluster ordinance.
And didn't you donate land to the school and the church? And I'm just,
That was part of the 40% open. That's part of the
okay.
No. I donated 50% open space when the school was built and the church. And all the buildings were taken out, I still had 40%. So it was actually a 50% donation of open space.
And a big chunk of that's private, correct? It's not public. The parks, no trespassing signs.
Are there no trespassing?
So the density bonus spots for the RE1 and the transitional residential overlay zones. The open space is intended to be along collector roads and maintain more of a rural feel with berming and larger setbacks. Base density is the 1.1 unit per 1.3 acres that it is now. If they want to get the bonus of up to 1 unit per acre, then it's the It's the dedication of the 5-acre park or the community. The thought was that we have the 15% open space requirement. The lot sizes averaged are commensurate with that open space allowance. So if you have 50% open space, then it's an average of half-acre lots. And like Councilmember Peterson said, maybe that the lots get larger as you move away from Peter City. So developments that want to have a density bonus, I set a number on this just because the 5-acre park would be 10% of that 50 acres. And then on top of that, 15% would be the 7.5 acres. So to me, that seemed like the smallest that we probably would be able to do. Also, just so you're aware, anytime you require an open space, it automatically requires an HOA. And in a smaller development with a 10-lot subdivision, sometimes HOAs don't function with that few members. So 15% doesn't get maintained.
Sometimes I have trouble with lots of members too.
Yeah.
Well, lots of members would be a public park, right? Once it gets over a 5-acre park, we would probably take it on as a regional.
That was the idea, is it would become a public park and Parks and Rec would maintain it.
So, go back to Cobblestone, there's a good example there with two different types of parks. There's one within the subdivision that the HOA maintains, but then also part of that development was the ground for the county park that's there now. That's maintained by the county now, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so those are the two different parks that we talk about. So you're talking about a second park where it's off built and the county maintains it. Yeah. It's not a private one. Okay.
So the 50-acre minimum, density bonus for a minimum of 5-acre regional park along the collector road under 5% slope, and then you're connected to a regional trail system. As acreage increases, regional park maintains that 10% requirement. So if you're a 100-acre park, then you've got the 10-acre regional park. Or if you're a 100-acre subdivision, a 10-acre regional park. The need is determined by the county council after adopting a regional park plan. We probably need to, disperse these parks where it makes sense and where Parks and Rec would like to have them be. It's not an option in the M and the Strawberry Recreation Zone just because of their proximity to the valley floor. Developments must maintain the 15% open space outside of the park dedication. Developer escrows for future parking lot and restrooms. County builds and maintains the park when needed. Providing a fee in lieu for open space. I'm really kind of at a loss of how we determine what that figure is. I want to say that to keep it current, we have some type of an appraisal associated with the subdivision at the time they come in. But if you have density bonus for apartment doors versus 1-acre lots, obviously that's not going to be the same in every product in between. So if neither option is used, then development's at base density. So the Planning Commission, when we discussed this, felt comfortable. There was barely a quorum there though, and our chair wasn't there. But they felt comfortable with it. They did point out that if you didn't have acre lots, then you don't have animal rights as well. So. And this is an example of a rural road that Mike Davis and I have been talking about. Part of the concern is snow storage, and part of the concern is more of a rural feel. So this is a concrete ribbon right up to the edge of asphalt to maintain that edge. And then you've got a swale, trail on one side, asphalt trail on one side. I think this is 8 feet. This is actually a midway cross section that they're using now. So that's kind of where we're heading. I didn't know if you wanted to give me some direction where we go from here. If we meet again as the committee and I take a stab at drafting some language, I'm not sure where we go. Do you think?
So who's on the committee again, remind me, I know.
It's on here.
So,
Me, Steve, and that's right.
yeah. What do you guys think, committee, you want?
I think I'm ready for Doug to work with Scott to draft language to make sure we're not making any mistakes and downs on it and things like that.
I think we ought to go ahead and draft language, then maybe have a joint meeting with the planning commission. And
The whole council or the committee?
the whole council and the planning commission to go through it. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered yet.
Yeah. Have another work meeting on it.
Do you think I could take a stab at drafting some language? We could meet again as a committee, make sure I'm on the right path. And I really want to think about this fee in lieu and how we address that. Because I think as we discussed, we don't want to make it so easy that a developer's just going to write a check and do that all day long. It needs to be something that they really have to sharpen their pencil on. But
Mike, did you have any concerns about what we talked about here?
I don't have an opinion yet. He's not. I think it's.
No, I'm only laughing because I know it's hard to come up with, I've got split opinions on it myself. I have property on the east, you know, and if you changed the density between 36 and 48, but that's where my property is, and I've had it, and I used to have the same property rights as between 12 and 24, I'm gonna be upset. But I don't know that I like more and more and more and more either. I mean, that's tough, so it's not easy.
Let's talk about that real quick. So what really doesn't change, because right now it's RA1, right? And so you still get 1 per acre. Just, we don't want to throw out all the bonuses. They get more than that. Like crossings is ordinance and calls, that's two units per acre. Crossings got 2 units per acre, and they're used to 24.
Was that due to planned performance or just densities or
there was a lawsuit.
bonuses?
There was a lawsuit and a
That's
settlement
right.
agreement.
That's a settlement agreement, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay, any other discussion on this, or we'll just move it to a work meeting and give Doug kind of the go-ahead to start drafting some stuff up with Scott's recommendation? Yes, sir.
Will there be a public hearing on?
Oh, if we make a change, it would absolutely go through the planning and council, public. That's correct, right?
I like Steve's idea of getting that.
They both have a public hearing.
Yeah. So multiple public hearings, yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.